This was actually manufactured by Momo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7525Rs.
8. Yeah, this is like opening an old scroll.
So it's in its own little flight case. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now we all have that one friend who has a hoarding problem, and this guy definitely does have a hoarding problem. But his addiction is retro car audio. So this episode is all about Mitesh and his addiction. So we're continuing with the car audio retro revival. Now you guys have been loving it. The comments are amazing, appreciate that. The views are amazing. Today I've come to see my good friend Mitesh. Some of you may have already seen him on the channel before, because not only does he have a car audio addiction, he has a car addiction, and he has some amazing cars which we have featured. But today is all about car audio, and this is cleaned up. 2 weeks ago, this place, you don't want to imagine what this place was like. He definitely does have an issue. So Mitesh.
How you doing? Hello. How
Stop
are you?
hiding. The nutty professor that is Mitesh.
How you doing?
This is crazy. This is on another level. So before we get into why and how, how many car stereos do you think you have here?
Do you know what? I actually haven't counted.
Okay, let's not count, because we could be here for a long time.
Probably about a couple of hundred, I'd say. I mean, this isn't everything. Just the creams here. I've got lots of other stuff stashed.
For reference, guys, all these cabinets are full of car audio, CD changers, old head units, and we'll explain some of the Mercedes head units in a moment. We can only highlight some products here, okay? Because 200 odd products, we haven't got that much time. Give me the reason why.
So you understand, back in the early 90s, this guy was selling car stereos. I was a little kid in the shop, drooling over them in his cabinets. So obviously back then they were very, very expensive. When you think like you can pick up car stereos for like 200, 300, 400, 500 pounds, the high-end products back then were almost like 700, 800 pounds, which was a lot of money back in the early 90s. That was just for the
stereo as well.
That was just the stereo, yeah. Then you'd have to buy the speakers and the amplifiers and fitting. And you know, as a kid, I installed stuff in my mum's car, blew stuff up, and somehow got a passion towards it. Used to collect all the catalogs and the brochures, studied them, because that's what we did. We didn't have no internet back then. We were sitting in the little boy's room, reading through the brochures, getting the model numbers, learning the specs. And yeah, so what I've ended up doing is creating a collection of all the top of the range Alpine, Kenwood, Pioneer, bit of Clarion, any of the decent high-end manufacturers of the 90s. All their top of the range products I've managed to find and have in my collection. Yeah, he's created his own little museum here just for himself. So we are very privileged to be here, because it's not often that he showcases these products, if at all. So look, let's get into it now. So you've got some here, the 1054R. So that was the daddy unit back in the day. So this was when companies were transitioning between pull-out and face-offs. So Kenwood decided to do a head unit with both. So for the old school guys, you had the pull-out, you could remove the unit completely, or if you wanted to be new school, you could take the face with you. So this was one of the very first stereos that was a pull-out and a face-off. Now Pioneer, now some of these we've actually shown you on the channel previously, but one thing that we haven't shown you are CD changers and the quirkiness and the reason why Pioneer CD changers were so well marketed and well sold. This is my early 90s, this very early 90s collection. I've got the 3 different models of Pioneer that were available at the time, the M30, the M40, the M50. Now this is a cool little feature that Pioneer actually offered. So you've obviously flipped down, you have your disc cartridge. 6-disc cartridge. Some of you, if you've got these old Pioneers and you think your disc ain't working, a lot of people don't realize Pioneer, you had to put the disc in upside down. So this is a common mistake people used to make when they were new. And I've seen somebody else had a video channel recently which I've watched, and they go, my CD player's not working, but I realized when he showed it, he had the disc facing up. So anyway, that's in your car, that's your 6 discs for your car. Yeah, you come home, you take it out, because discs were expensive. They're like 20, 30 to up to, between 15, 10, 20 pounds for an album. So you had your 6 discs in there. You'd come home, and Pioneer had a home disc changer separates unit. So a lot of them used to take 1 cartridge. I've got a rare unit which actually holds 3 cartridges. So you've got 18 discs in total. A lot of people actually used to take the CD magazines out anyway, purely because of theft, because car theft was ripe in the 80s and 90s. And although you could take your face off your stereo, people are still breaking into your car,
take the back of your stereo and take the CD changer and cut the cables. And if you had your CDs in there, you'd lose your CDs. Head units wise, we've got the 9500 here, which is a top end unit from about 1992, 93. Very high spec, very good unit. He's even got a lovely sort of mid-spec wood finish unit. Very big in the 90s because of Mercedes, Rolls-Royce. There were some BMs, but wood grain finish units from Pioneer, Solwell, Alpine, Kenwood, even Clarion did them, even Sony did them. You don't see anything now.
I think Pioneer were one of the first with the 8500 wood.
Yeah.
I think that was the first proper wood unit that came out.
If we go back a little bit earlier in the Pioneer range, you've got what they used to call the centrate. So you couldn't just use the unit on its own. So this year, the Kexem 800 was literally just a slave unit with a radio tuner, zero amplification, RCA only. You've got separate equalizers. So these are really high spec, late 80s, early 90s. And then moving on, Mitesh somehow has managed to collect some really fantastic brochures from the 90s, and I've got to give him credit for that because I'm trying to find these and they just do not exist.
So this is the second batch which I've bought, but I've got a crate full of them in my storage. So once I get all of that out, whatever I've got doubles, you can have.
Now, if any of you have spare brochures or catalogs from 80s or 90s, even the noughties, any brand, my Instagram details are on the screen. Reach out to me. I'll happily cover postage. I'll give you discount on new product if you want new product. I could do with those brochures for our museum.
Nowadays, cars come with a stereo, they come with Bluetooth as standard. Back in the day, it was big business because you got a car with a hole in the dashboard. Most manufacturers, you got the car and you decided what you wanted to do. BMW, Pioneer was one of their, so they had Pioneer and Blaupunkt as their official supplier. So I remember going to sit in a BMW in Leicester, and like you've got your car audio stands, they actually had a Pioneer stand within the dealership. So the reason why I've got this is for my E34 M5. So I'm going to do a period correct install, because it actually did come with this unit, but because it was old and battered, so I've managed to find another unit that works. But if you can see this, look, this is their brochure from back in the day, and they use BMW in all their pictures and
all
advertising and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it was actually an official
approved product.
Product. And also, if you've got an early 90s BMW 7 Series, if you have a look, it uses this changer. So it's called a BMW P. So it's a BMW Pioneer changer. So they use these cartridges on the early 7 Series. Later BMWs, they have BMW A because they moved on to Alpine. So the consumer wouldn't know what the BMW P or the BMW A meant, but it meant the P is the Pioneer and the A is the Alpine.
So, Alpine, and I've got to say, Mitesh has an amazing collection of Alpine units, more than I do, and he has some components that I'm very jealous of. Now, there's not many men that can say, or many people should I say, that can say they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7525Rs. 8 7525Rs. Why? I don't know. But you've got some rare bits of kit here.
I have indeed, yeah.
Now, this is a 3617. It's a DSP or digital field processor from about 1993-94. It's an early separate DSP unit that Alpine produced. It's RCA only, so it's got no internal amplification. It's a single DIN, so you use it with another single DIN unit like a cassette unit and so on. It's got obviously the old school 6-button layout. That in period is very expensive. I think from memory, £500-600.
Okay.
And again, you're going to use a 7618 or a 7619.
Yeah.
All the amps. You know, you're into £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 if you went down this road in the early 90s. It's a lot of money. But one thing, when I say one thing, I know you have got the best cassette unit.
Yeah, Alpine ever did process.
Ever made.
Yeah.
I think ever made.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think Pioneer come close. I don't think Kenwood come close.
Yeah.
I don't think Clarion came close. And that's the Alpine 7619R.
Ta-da.
And there he goes. In fact, you have two.
Well, it'd be greedy. Well, you can't just have one, mate.
Okay.
You can't have too much of a good thing.
We've covered the 7618 on one of our early retro episodes, which is that unit there. This is the 7619, one model up. Technically, there's not much different between the two, which is
Dynas. So it's just an extra radio feature. I don't think me and you listen to the radio.
No.
But it's just, that was the daddy. Like all the high-end top big boy cars had this. I don't even think growing up in that era, going to the car shows, I ever saw a 7619. We only ever saw a 7618. I think, was there 100 or 250
£100 difference.
Was there £100 price difference back in the day, yeah? So I think maybe because it was just an extra radio feature, most people went into it. But yeah, the 7618 is like the daddy unit. I mean, it was that good. Rolls-Royce used to fit them as standard. So this is actually a Rolls-Royce version. So if you can see the buttons, they don't have the green chiclets. There's no Alpine branding on the front. When I say chiclets, that's what these are called, the chiclets, yeah?
Correct, yeah.
So, and the way you denote it is if you look on the bottom, it says RR7618R, which means
Just there.
Rolls-Royce.
Same period in the 90s, Alpine worked very heavily alongside some of their OEM brands, manufacturers, and one of those customers was Rolls-Royce. And I actually remember selling a lot of Alpine Rolls-Royce stereos because Rolls-Royce went through a bit of a struggle in the mid to late 90s.
Is it?
Yeah, and they couldn't sell the stereos. So I remember having white box stereos, which were these Alpine units. There were actually two models. This is the amplified only model, and there was one which had an amplifier built in. They came in a white box, Alpine, but because it was for Rolls-Royce, the box was never badged Alpine. These are amazing units. 7619, even the best car journalist in the UK at this moment in time is Chris Harris, and he is running a 7619R in his Integrale. Very good unit, but it doesn't end there, does it, Mitesh?
No, we carry on further down. So I've got the 7618s. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. 7 of the 7525s.
Why?
Why not? I genuinely don't know why.
Mitesh has not only got a fetish for the stereos, he has a fetish for remote controls, as you can see. As well as having some really high-end audio in multiple quantities. He has two products which are rare as rocking horse. He's laughing because he knows what I'm referring to. One of those is an Alpine steering wheel. Now, this was actually manufactured by Momo for Alpine. They didn't make many units, and I think in period I might have sold 1 or 2 units.
They weren't cheap.
They were not cheap.
Oh, that was about the cost. So I think the head unit was £700-800, and that was £700-800 as well. Yeah, it was crazy.
And as you can see, the reason why Alpine manufactured the steering wheel was because of the controls in the middle. So the horn push was to the right and left, and you got volume control and tape selection and CD and source selection in the middle. So this is pre what we all know now as steering wheel controls. This is an early steering wheel with controls. Very rare.
And it's the era from when cars didn't have airbags. So early 90s airbags. This came just before the airbags did. Cool little feature on the back. So that's your remote eye. So if we're in a right hand drive car, the remote eye is on that side, so it points to the stereo. If you're on a left hand drive car, you can remove that, put it on the opposite side, so it points to the stereo. I bought this on the first day Facebook Marketplace opened up.
No.
Yeah, so on the first day of Facebook Marketplace, I went on it, and the guy had it up just down the road, £180. I thought I'd knock him down. He wasn't having it. I paid full whack for it. He had it in a Mark II Golf. It's actually going to go in my Mark II Golf because I'm going to do a nice little Alpine spread, which will hopefully feature soon. But
we'll keep that here.
Yeah.
That's a cool bit of kit there. We also have some Alpine 3-disc units over here, which again, we've covered on the channel. They were also featured in the Road Rat magazine, installed in one of our cars. But this guy likes to go one step further. Not only does he have multiple 3-disc units, he has multiple magazines in different colors.
I think the one I'm missing is blue. I'm sure they did blue, yellow and red. And the black, I think the silver one is from either a later unit or maybe from a Jap unit. But yeah, these are 3-disc shuttle cartridges. They did the face-off and the pull-out version.
There's a product up there, just up there. Before we open that product, let's have a little bit of a history lesson on Mitesh. Why has it got to this level, and what's that transition? Why car audio? Why so much?
12, 13 years old, I caught the bug. So I went to my first car sound off in 94, Live 94, amazing show. And obviously Max Power magazine had just come out in 93. So again, you're reading about the car audio culture within the UK. I managed to turn that into a career. So I worked for a very good car audio company, similar to what Cass is in Leicester. To be fair, there's not many left. You are one of the only old school proper companies left now. I managed to fit the stereos that I used to drool over, sort of thing. Saying that, some of the stuff that I really liked as a teenager was obsolete by then. So hence the reason why I have a lot of the collection, because by the time I got into it, really, it wasn't really available to buy. Alarms, I was like the Clifford guy during the Max Power era in Leicester. Multimedia came out. So early 2000s, the multimedia industry, by that time I'd moved on and started on my own, doing a hell of a lot of fold down screens, headrest monitors and stuff like that. Did that for about 3-4 years, and then I got into retrofitting. So retrofit is basically fitting the original stuff that belongs in the car to the car post-production. So there's a car on the dealership lot, it's the right colour, right spec otherwise, but it ain't got sat nav. So I would come in and retrofit the factory nav and code it and program it to the car.
So where would you source your products from?
So I was working with some companies in Germany, because again, retrofitting was big there. So I'd get the units, I'd get the conversion leads and come there, fit it. I had my own star machine. So I'd go in, code the car up, program the system and make it all work as it was per factory.
And you know, since we're talking about retrofitting,
yeah,
shall we open the cabinets and just
so this is,
give you an idea?
I think I need to clear some of this stuff out, because this is like, so oh no, that's not the wrong. So this is like the stuff that came out once we
here we go, guys.
Installed it. So there's some in there, there's some in there.
This is absolutely crazy.
There's
I
like,
did notice some over here as well.
Nav units and
There
stuff
we go.
there.
That's what Mitesh means about retrofitting. So as you can see, 08, Audi 20 there, Merc units. He's obviously always had a passion for car audio and cars, and over the years he's managed to combine that passion into a hoarding passion and an addiction, but it's worked out really well, because as we all know, these retro head units they've skyrocketed.
Yeah, touch wood.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it was more of a hobby, and
well,
hopefully.
hobby is having one of each. Hobby is not having 6 and 7s and 8s of each. So he's done really well there. Hello, Mum. Mum. Yeah, I'm going to be late today. I'm with Mitesh. I'm going to help him tidy up. I'll see you in about a week. I mentioned another, I'm going to say Halo product earlier on. We've seen the steering wheel. We've seen the 7619R x2. Behind up here is the RTA, real-time analyzer. Got it?
Yep.
Here we have an Alpine 4780 RTA, which was never available to the public.
So RTA means real-time analyzer. So this was a dealer level product. So if you're an authorized Alpine dealer back in the late 80s, you were given this product. It has a little microphone. You place it where the driver sits, and what it does, it listens to the car and makes sure that all the frequencies are there, and it helps you during setup, etc. And it gives you a little printout as well. So yeah, this is like opening an old scroll. This is literally a one-owner product.
So it's in its own little flight case. So I'm going to leave this to Mitesh to show, because I've never used one. I never sold one. I never received one, because I wasn't an Alpine dealer in the 80s or the 90s.
This is one thing me and Raj have in common. I've never used one either.
Okay.
It's just there because it looks great. But so it comes with an Alpine demonstrator cassette, pink noise.
That shows its age.
So pink noise is, well, it's got CD as well.
Oh, it's got a CD as well?
It's got a CD as well. So,
okay.
Oh, I need to listen to this. The pink noise is what you'd use to set up, because pink noise is basically...
Hold on. Give Alpine some respect here. A Lambo as well.
Of course.
Period correct.
Always. So basically, pink noise is like, it's what we'd call hiss. But I think that's literally playing all the frequencies. So
correct.
What you're doing is making sure that you've not got too much and you've just got the right amount of all the frequencies, your bass, your mid-range and your treble.
That was a technical explanation of...
It's very important.
Pink noise.
So that's your microphone, which you would clip on your, I'd say that goes on your headrest.
Yeah.
And that will probably go through the headrest thingy, like in the position where you'd be listening to it. That's your microphone there. Oh, check this out. Okay, so it's got an in-car, should I power it up? Designed to be portable, plug in your car, outside in the car park, what have you, and play music through the car, whether it's going to be the CD or the pink noise. And this would give you a printout. Now, what I remember has got really cool, you see these, look, these are actual...
Are they ribbons?
No, they're pens. So it's got 4 different colour inks in it.
Oh, what would you do? Would you mark it on the actual printout?
I don't know what it does. It prints in 4 different colours, so it's probably printing a few different... Look, can you see there?
Okay, look, we're not going to have enough time to get this working today.
Yeah,
we'll try and power it up.
Yeah,
but we will get this to CAS HQ at some point.
So it's got 4.
Power it up, and we'll do a video on just this RTA, and we'll combine it with the Alpine alarm that we have as well. So all the sort of unusual Alpine stuff, we'll do that at some point, but we'll have it powered up hopefully and showcase that. Shall we move on, Mitesh?
Yeah.
Now, we haven't covered much in the way of amplifiers and so on, but one thing I've noticed hiding in that corner is an Alpine 3.5, is it a 5.6 or a 6.6? The amp.
Ah.
This is a 3.566. Which is a 6-channel amplifier from the 90s. So everyone's seen 6-channel amplifiers now. You know, you got Audison and brands like that, which have got really compact digital 6-channel amplifiers. Alpine were manufacturing these in the 90s, and all high quality, grade components, top end product. It has a wood finish just to give it that sort of high-end feel. I think in period these were about £600 in the 90s. Again, expensive bit of kit. This is obviously brand new, as you can see. You've still got your terminals all covered up and so on. You have 6 RCA inputs and all your speaker outputs. And on this side, you've got all the crossover settings for your front, rear, and your subwoofer channel. These are rare, especially in this condition. Few marks on it because it keeps dropping it.
No. This was pre-purchased. So yeah, it was just the one with the wood is like the daddy. So that was a nice one-box solution that literally ran your whole car. If you're a full-on audiophile, maybe someone like Elton John, you'd have this. And there's 4 amplifiers for sale right now, and apparently they were from Elton John's car. So 4 of them. So if they're 2-channel, he's probably had a full active setup, all running off 3.5, because he probably wanted the best you could get then. And back then, this was it, the 3.558. So this was basically as good as it got with regards to Alpine amplifiers. I've never seen one installed in a car.
Neither have I.
That's as good as Alpine amplifiers got in the early 90s.
And moving on, you know, we still have cupboards full of car audio here. But guys, it's just crazy. We've covered a lot of the Alpine 3-disc.
That's a special one. So the 7817, if you've watched James Bond GoldenEye, he's got an Aston Martin in there with an Alpine head unit. I remember going to see it as a kid, like this was probably year 10 or year 11 at school, and he came up on the screen and I'm like, yo, Alpine 7817, and my friends are looking at me thinking, what's this idiot on about? But literally they had this unit and it printed out, and it was a fax machine disguised as an Alpine head unit and an Aston Martin.
Also a nice collection of Nakamichi units hiding in the corner here with some lovely Clarion units. And just check out this remote control from Clarion. That in itself looks like it should be on Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, that is nuts.
And we'll finish off on Sony, which is a shame because Sony no longer do car audio in Europe. They manufacture car audio for the States, but it's really sort of entry to mid-level. It's not what they were like in the 90s and noughties. I mean, Sony was the aftermarket supplier for Ferrari for a few years.
And VW.
And VW, yes. 355 from factory came with a Sony radio cassette and a CD changer. And it's a shame, you know, these pull-out Sonys are just, they're so 90s. But this unit here, the XRU 882 RDS, high-end unit from around the mid-90s, very high spec. Now guys, we can carry on forever. There's units hidden here. Professor Mitesh has got his workbench here where he carves all these units up and makes 2 into 1, makes them work. And obviously for his day job, that's what he uses that for. Sorry, talking about day job. What is your day job now?
So I repair laser machines for the aesthetic industry. So I repair like hair removal laser machines, basically.
A trip down memory lane. We've covered a lot in this video. We're gonna have to come back at some point and talk about a bit more about car audio and delve into some other products.
You come back when I've got them installed into the car that they were destined for. So my plan is to put all the Alpine stuff, the steering wheel, etc., into my Golf Rally, because I think that's a nice period correct car for that to go in. And I want to do the BMW Pioneer installation. So yeah, once those 2 are done, you're more than welcome to come back and have a look. So
before we end the video, there are a couple of units that I think we'll cover either next time or I'll cover them back at CAS. And they're 2 unicorn products, again by Alpine. I mean, this guy is Mr. Unicorn himself, the amount of unicorn products he has. One is the 5255, which is a cassette deck from, I think from memory, it's 1990, 91. Right. It's a slave unit, so it doesn't have a radio tuner built in, but it has an amplifier built in. So either you just listen purely to cassette, or you'd have to have another unit for the radio. But the other unit, now I'm gonna put it out there. I don't think 99% of you watching this would have ever seen this unit, and I'm gonna say at least 75% of you won't know this technology. This is the Alpine 5700 DAT, digital audio tape. I'm not going to say any more because I want you to come back and learn about this unit in another video. There's the DAT. It looks very similar to a Sony Video 8 cassette from the 90s. Very rare. So we will be back at some point to cover more of Mitesh's collection. Most importantly, thank you very much.
Good to see you again.
Thank you for tidying up.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, and I'm glad I put emphasis and pressure on you because it's made you actually realize that
Taking the credit.
Yeah, I'm taking the credit for his collection.
No. In fact, to be honest, I needed that kick up the.
Yeah, he needed that push.
I wouldn't have done it without Raj saying that he's going to come down.
Mitesh's details, they're on the screen earlier on. They're on the screen again now. Make sure you give Mitesh a follow. He cracks me up because he starts off by.
On today's episode of Mitesh doing random Raj Sanger.
Which is what he does. So yeah, he has 200 plus stereos. I'm going to say there's more than that, but this guy has 150 plus cars. So at some point we'll have to come back and cover his car collection. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you give Mitesh a follow. Make sure you're following Cardio Security, and make sure you smash the like button and you're a subscriber. There's a lot more content coming soon. Hopefully I'll see you at the shop at some point.